Forgive me as I'm going to attempt to do this in one take. So first, when you receive the shared invite from me, it's going to show up in your shared folder. As long as you click on the link, it should be there. That version of the survey will actually not be editable by you. In order to edit the survey, you'll see it like this in the shared version. You simply click here and do copy project. You can put where you like it to land, but once you copy the project, you'll see it'll populate here in a second. Populates over like this, and it'll look a little bit different. One, this has already been distributed, so it has a couple of people who have recorded results, but this one doesn't, and so you'll see some certain things on here. So once you go into the survey itself, you'll notice that I have a variety of blocks set up. And I do this so it's fairly easy to adjust the survey as needed if you have more or less groups in any particular class that you're using the survey for the term project. So let's open up one of the blocks that is related to one of the groups. There's a couple things going on here. First, I have a timer. The students that take this survey can't actually see this timer. What this allows me to do is to show that they're actually taking some amount of time on reviewing the video. You could use this if you really want to say to a student, hey, you didn't actually review or watch these videos. Granted, I also send an email, which I'll give you an example to, that has all the links to the video, and some students prefer to watch the videos outside of the survey itself, which is okay. So take it or leave it. Then you'll see this area, which simply is where I embed the video. So embedding a video is actually fairly straightforward when it comes to Qualtrics. If you open up this area, there's this thing up here called Rich Content Editor. So you click on the Rich Content Editor, and then you're simply going to embed the video. So you just simply take the URL and drop it right in there, and it'll do all the rest of the work for you. And then it'll populate that area once you exit the Rich Content Editor. Then, as you can see here, this is the overall grade that this student is assigning to this particular group. And there's something that I need to tell you about this, is that I actually went in and changed the coded values for the grades. So basically, the best that you can get, or that a student can grade a group that they're grading, is a 1, and then it goes up to a 13. That means that when you get the results of this information, the best group will be the lowest number overall if you're averaging them out. Then I have some specific feedback. You can change any of these things. But as you can see, I've labeled these so that when they come out in Excel form, if that's your preferred tool, it'll actually show group 1 and what these rankings are. So those are some of the basics of Qualtrics. Let me show you how to delete and or potentially add a group as well. So let's say that we don't have 8 groups. We only have 7 groups in the class. Well, it's as simple as simply deleting this block. Fairly straightforward. So I can just delete the block here. Yes, I'm sure that I want to delete the block. And then I only have 7 groups. The survey is smart enough to handle that. That's absolutely fine. But let's say that I want to add a group. Oh no, I made a mistake. I actually do have 8 groups. I need to add a group. Well, that's fairly straightforward as well. I'm going to copy the block here. So copy block. And then I can name this block 8 if I would like. Ooh, if I can type. And it's simply going to insert block 8. Block 8 will look exactly like block 7, except for you can see that these have the timer 7, group 7, and so on listed out. So then I would want to go in here. Otherwise, it'll be relatively difficult to do to know what I'm talking about when I look at the results and put the appropriate information in here. So for this would be timer 8. This, I would look to see what I have up here as well, would be group 8. so on and so forth. I don't really need to go through each one of these things with you, but essentially these are exactly the same until I do populate this video as something different. And so where this actually comes to play is the survey flow. So if I go into the survey flow here, you can see that I have 8 blocks, and this will only say 7 because I've just added a block. You're going to want this to say 8 in the randomizer. And what this randomizer does is it presents each one of these in a random order. And you want it here, you want all the people to rate all the groups, including their own. And actually, I think that's pretty pertinent. It gets people to watch the videos more so. But if this only had 7 in there, then they would only be presented with 7 random groups instead of all 8. So you need to make sure to go in and change this to 8 so that they can actually see everything, and then save your flow afterwards. And so the flow, just for a quick explanation of the flow, is basically what they'll see. So first they see the name block, which is 3 questions. Then it's going to randomly show them present 8 of the following elements. So it's going to present all of these to them, but in a random order. So each person will not see the groups in the same order, and that's pretty important when it comes to study design anyway, so that no group is necessarily hindered by being last or first or in some other type of order. And then ultimately they're going to see this block, which is the evaluation block. So let's say that you have populated this any way that you really want to, and then you want to get this survey out to people. Well, that's pretty straightforward. You're just going to go to distributions here, and you'll see it come up here in a second to distribute the survey. And the easiest way to do this is simply to get a single reusable link. So you click get a single reusable link, and then it's going to give you a link. This means now that the survey is actually live, and so all you're going to do is you're going to copy this link and paste it to wherever you want the students to access this link. And when you click on this link, as you'll see, it actually takes you into the survey itself. And so then you can go through the whole survey. I have it so that they have to put their names in here. And then you'll be able to read the instructions. You'll be able to see each individual group. So here first, I was presented with group 3 first, which is fine. I go through and do the slider, tell them what group or what I think of them, and then I go through and type in some feedback and so on and so forth. Then it presents with the next group all the way through. So this is fairly straightforward. Once you're ready to get your data, it's the easiest way is just to go to data and analysis, and then I simply export the data to Excel. And then you're also going to change this to use numeric values. And what this is going to give you is the numeric values that I have associated with everything. So like I went through when I recoded those values, that 1 associated with an A+. And it's much easier to use that way than the choice text, because the choice text is oftentimes confusing and sometimes generated entirely by Qualtrics. So just use the numeric values and you'll be straightforward. And hopefully you understand how to do some of those things. Hopefully this wasn't too fast. Like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions for you, and I'll put a bunch more information in the email to you as well. But hopefully this was a decent overview. Thank you so much, and let me know if I can be of any help.